Hello, this is Goombasa here, and I'm just here to give you something a bit different than usual. This is a commentary on my Zelda Retrospective series, and don't worry, I'm not going to talk about each video individually. I'm mostly here to give you guys an overview on the series as a whole, and pretty much explain why it took me so long to finish it, because it took me a lot longer than I thought, especially since I only really had to do 7 videos for it, one for each of the console games that I owned, and to address a few questions that I was asked with it. First off, this actually was not my idea initially. Believe it or not, it was my grandmother who gave me the idea. I picked her up from work one day. We were heading home, and we got to talking about my videos that I was making back when I first got home from college that year. And so yeah, she happened to mention to me, well, why don't you go and do something on the Zelda series? And I said, well, alright, and I had kind of put the idea on the back burner because at the time I really didn't want to do anything about something like Zelda, because what could I have said that hasn't already been said? I mean, people have talked about the Zelda series for ages and praised them up, down, and sideways. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized this was actually something that I could probably have a lot of fun with. And I did, but I also had a lot of problems with it. So I decided to take a bit more of an analytic approach than some of my older reviews. So I gave a very brief synopsis of pretty much everything I knew most people would already know about the games, like the gist of each game, the improvements that were made, and then I went off and did my best to try and find themes in each game, which was a whole lot of fun. And I hadn't played a lot of the older Zelda games in quite a while, so it was actually a really interesting experience to go back and rediscover some of the games that I had grown up with. Pardon me. Sorry, my throat's getting a little dry. But yeah, so after I did my Arslan review, I decided that I was going to give this a shot. So, and I also decided that I was going to try and do this in a way that was a bit different than my ordinary reviews, because how I do my ordinary reviews is I will gather up the footage that I need for specifically one video review, and I usually do not plan ahead for each individual video, which, you know, I probably should. It would probably make keeping all of these in order a whole lot easier, like when I promised to do Yu Yu Hakusho but was unable to because I couldn't get to the DVDs in time. If I had actually gotten the footage beforehand, well, you probably would have a Yu Yu Hakusho review, but then again, I probably wouldn't have my Cat Returns video, which to date remains the most popular video of mine on YouTube right now. So anyway, I decided that I was going to capture all the footage from all the games right off the bat, and I would make each video from there. And so the first challenge was getting all of the games together and getting the footage, which, believe it or not, was a very time-consuming process, mostly because for a few of them there were specific parts that I wanted to get, like the final battles from Twilight Princess and Ocarina of Time. And I was lucky enough in Ocarina of Time to still have a save file that was right at the end of the game. So I got lucky with that one, but for Twilight Princess I actually did have to work my way to the end of the game fairly quickly. And for each of the other games I pretty much had to start from the beginning, which means that I had to get a lot of footage really fast, that would still show off enough of the game that I could get my point across. Excuse me. Oh boy. But that's where the challenge came in, was especially for the 3D games, because they are so much more expansive and they last so much longer than these older games, that it took me a lot longer to get all of the footage that I wanted for those videos, because I had to start from the beginning, and it takes you so long to get going in those games. Like Ocarina of Time, for example, it probably doesn't help that I recorded that one, the first one, with a semi-broken controller. The Z button was not working properly on that controller. I eventually swapped it out, but it took me a little while. And then, of course, when I go to upload the footage that I had gotten for the original 2 games was corrupted somehow, and only the first 5 seconds of each one, which was basically the title screen, was working. So on the day that I had decided I was going to record this particular video, I actually had to go back and re-record all of the footage that I had gotten from the first 2 games, which was like an hour for each of them. I mean, it wasn't a very big time-consuming task, but it was annoying, and it also means that I had a bit of trouble putting it together. Yeah, and I don't like delays like that. If I sit down to do a review, I try to do it all in one shot, because otherwise, well, if you leave it off, I tend to find reasons not to go back to it. But anyway, yeah. That was the only real problem that I had, was just getting the footage together. But then the other big problem reared its ugly head with the fact that I live in a very interesting area of the world. I live on an island off the coast of Maine, and as such, we kind of got the shaft when it comes to internet hookups. I mean, when I'm here at college, I have no trouble uploading my videos, but when I'm here at home, I'm stuck with a very, very fickle dial-up program. And as such, the only ways that I was able to get most of the videos that I make at home up was to wait for the library to open up, go there and use the wireless that they have there, because that's pretty much the only place on the island that has free Wi-Fi that I can exploit in this manner. And that's another reason why it took me so long to get the videos up, because I didn't start making another video until I had gotten the previous one up. And once again, that was probably pretty foolhardy of me, because I probably could have gotten like the first 3 done instead of just waiting for a chance to get to the library and upload the video, this particular video. Yeah. So